Live. There's so much to talk about. What a week. The news cycle's been insane this week. Colbert got fired. He's not even on NBC. Trump fired him. What else? New York Poetry Festival. I want to do a recap about that. And talk about New York Poetry Festival because it's been that long. I mean, it's literally been 7 days since I did this. And it just feels like it's been 4 or 5 major news cycles since then. What else? Epstein, of course. All the Epstein, the drawing. There's supposedly a drawing out there, a doodle. I haven't seen it. What else? This is just the overture, the rundown. Top fans, what the hell does that mean? Thank you for watching, thank you for liking and subscribing. Colbert got fired. We watch all these Steve Carell movies. I just watched this movie, Irresistible. Horrible title. But it was a pretty good movie. It was directed by Jon Stewart. I gotta say, Jon Stewart, I haven't seen his other film, but he's a pretty good director. It was not a bad film. It was one of the better, I think it was better than Vice. We watched Vice, the Dick Cheney movie. It was okay. I mean, it was pretty good. To me, it's like these are all devices to learn about the situation we're in now. It's hyper learning. You know, if I can watch. And Carell, we've just been doing kind of a deep dive of Carell for some reason. The only movie that Ashley liked that we watched all week was Dinner for Schmucks. She loved Dinner for Schmucks. She was not that big of a fan of Burt Wonderstone. We watched The Incredible Burt Wonderstone. It was pretty good. It was better than Date Night. Date Night was a piece of shit. Some of these movies, it's just like, why do they get made? How do they get made? This is the best thing they can do with Steve Carell and Tina Fey. Like, give me a break. Although, I do want to say, okay, this is something I do want to talk about. The best movie that I probably watched this week was Bonfire of the Vanities, Brian De Palma, which people have always shit all over this movie. I remember when it came out when I was a little kid. I remember seeing commercials about it on Fox, in living color, Jim Carrey, the Wayans brothers, David Alan Grier, and then there'd be like a fucking commercial for Bonfire of the Vanities. Oh, it's Bruce Willis, Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, or Melanie Griffith. Even at the time, there was like, even as a 4 or 5 year old, I had a palpable sense that movie was like a huge bomb. And I've tried to watch it before because it's all over Tubi and all the kind of streaming networks because it's a bomb. But it's got Bruce Willis and Tom Hanks, and it's actually a very good movie. I was like actually kind of blown away. Cinematically, I mean, it's De Palma, so it's just like, you know, there's all these incredible. The movie starts with this like 5-minute long fucking shot. Bruce Willis goes up an elevator and blah blah blah. It's like there's a whole. One of the things that I really liked about it is the way it lays out the story, because it's based on a novel. You know, that's something that I've been kind of looking for in movies because it's just a different structure. Those John Irving movies, you know, novels just have a whole different sense of how the story unfolds. It's more like a tale or something. There's framing devices. They move around in the timeline. And it's more like the logic. You know, like these movies, like Date Night. It's like as soon as that movie fucking starts, it's like you know exactly what the whole movie is going to be. It's like they're just parents from the suburbs. They get mixed up in this crazy thing that's in over their heads with like cops and spies and Gal Gadot and Mark Wahlberg and shit. and you're like, there's gonna be car chases. Like, this movie is just pointless. There's no point to this fucking movie. They're gonna learn that they love each other, they love their kids, or just some kind of banal fucking moral or whatever. Whereas these movies that are based on novels, it's like, it kind of starts in one place, it unfolds. And, like this Bonfire of the Vanities, it really lays out it starts on Bruce Willis. You're at this gala or some shit. He's sort of become Tom Hanks. He's sort of become this like aristocrat, wealthy person because of the success of his book. But you don't really know. Then they go into the story with Tom Hanks, and he gets off on the wrong, exit. It's like that movie Grand Canyon, and that like the main like terrifying shit that he gets into is like he gets off on a black neighborhood. It's like, oh my god, what is gonna happen to him? In this fucking like scary inner city. I guess that was everybody's worst nightmare probably in the 80s or whatever. Get off on the wrong exit and get jacked or whatever. So anyway, a lot of it's about, it was really good at portraying the way that the media kind of takes things that aren't necessarily true, but it needs these kind of stories to pitch its own agenda. Like the whole crux of the movie, they kind of lay it out, is this precinct is valuable because of the election. This guy, F. Murray Abraham, it's like a very Pacino performance. I want to say that like Brian De Palma is responsible for like that kind of Pacino acting, that like screaming, like Scarface, right? That was the first kind of Pacino movie where he really goes full Pacino, over the top, and he's screaming. It's like operatic, I guess. There's F. Murray Abraham has some Pacino moments in Bonfire of the Vanities, where it's just like musical, the way he's kind of like screaming and emphasizing certain weird shit. But I saw F. Murray Abraham outside of the library a few months ago. I've never seen anybody that looked more like a pimp. He looked like Panama Jack. He was wearing like a white linen suit and like a white fedora, and he was like slinking across 6th Avenue like he was Ratso Rizzo or something. So anyway, yeah, Bonfire of the Vanities. You got to see Bonfire of the Vanities, everybody. It's way, I mean, I apparently it's not like the book. I don't really think that matters. I think it's like, in a certain way, I'd say it's like, I don't know if I'd say it's anti-woke, but it's almost like I'm not saying this like as a positive, but like Tom Hanks, not to spoil the ending, but he's like an extremely privileged individual in the movie. And I guess the ending in the movie is different than the book. In the book, there's sort of like justice. In the movie, it's like, well, they can't have Tom Hanks go to jail. Apparently Tom Wolfe wanted Chevy Chase, which kind of makes more sense. I mean, the character is supposed to be like some entitled fucking like blue blood finance just douchebag. It's kind of like an American Psycho movie. It's that same, obviously, that same time, 80s, super wealth. But I mean, there's a reason why this stuff pops up on Tubi. I mean, Tubi in particular, I think, is very shrewd about their curation. And they pick movies, like this movie is very relevant. It's sort of presaged the OJ trial. It's sort of like an OJ, there's like a big spectacle kind of trial that's very like race, kind of like, and that's one of the things that's truthful, I think, about the story, is like these cases, they are ways that the society defines itself, and they, like for these people in the South Bronx or wherever, You know, it's like important to win this battle in court because it says something for all of them about the way they can be treated and privilege and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, it's sort of like a George Floyd situation. There's some really good actors. This guy, John Hancock, plays like this Al Sharpton. So yeah, I recommend. Ooh, man, that pond is smelling like summertime. It smells like algae. I need to sit down for a minute and get my focus. Of course, we're going to talk about Colbert. Colbert got shit canned. I've been saying they should fire him, to be honest. I'm pretty sure I said that. I've probably said that on here. Because we went and saw Colbert a couple months ago, right? We were ahead. We knew it was coming. And he was kind of a douche, I gotta say. This band OK Go was supposed to play, and they like didn't. They had to go to their gig or whatever, so they didn't play. They didn't even show us a video or anything. So at the end of the show, Colbert's like, oh, and by the way, OK Go's not going to play. So thanks everybody for coming. Have a great night. And that was the end. It's like, dude, fuck you. You can't treat your fucking audience this way. Like, throw us a bone or something. I mean, it sucks that he got canceled, right? And it's obviously political. That's the scary part. Trump getting more W's in the chat, getting to sort of impart his will, because for some reason the president has to sign off on this Skydance deal. And I talked about this, actually. I remember talking about the Skydance thing a year ago, or, you know, sometime within the last year, because it did pop up on the Drudge. Drudge talks about it. And I just thought to myself, why did I talk about that? That was such a, what was the point of that? It was just like such a, but now it's weird how it's like right at the center of this whole conversation, where it's like, you know, our media is just increasingly owned by billionaire oligarchs who, it's just their personal whims, the decisions. They don't like Jon Stewart. They don't like Colbert. Apparently it's gonna fuck with South Park. I'll bet the fucking people... See, if you would have told people who voted for Trump that it was gonna fuck with South Park, oh my God, that's something they actually care about. They would have been like, hell no. I'll never vote for... I'm voting for Kamala. Kamala's pro Matt and Trey. So apparently the South Park guys are super pissed because there was supposed to be a premiere, you know, of their next season or blah, blah, blah. And they can't get started until they, whatever, you know, this deal goes through or some shit. So South Park is going to get fucked. And it'll probably even move. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the end of Comedy Channel. Because, I mean, that's what fucking Jon Stewart said. He's like, basically comedy, like all these cable channels, they're like weird. They just show ridiculousness all the time. You know, it's just like, they're just weird, like video on demand or pay-per-view or something. It's just like they show the same shit all day. So it's like, Jon Stewart's like, Comedy Central is basically like wallpaper except for The Daily Show, you know, except for The Daily Show and South Park. They don't really have any other fucking shows. It's like, as far as I know, they show like Family Guy reruns and shit like that. It's like these cable stations are dying, but this Paramount Plus or whatever, you know, South Park, Daily Show, Late Show, these are obviously valuable brands, or you'd think they would be. It's crazy. They're just like canning that whole fucking show. But I don't know. I mean, you had to see the writing on the wall with all this fucking late night shit. They've been downsizing it. Seth Meyers doesn't even wear a fucking suit. He doesn't have a band. You know, it's like they're basically fucking live streams. You know, they're basically just another content creator. CBS doesn't want to spend $100 million a year on Colbert. And to some degree, you know, I don't blame him. It said he was losing $40 million a year because staff, his show costs $100 million to make. They said late night, all of late night only makes like a few $100 million a year. It's like $300 or $400 million. I can't remember which. That's every fucking late night show put together. And it's like, yeah, there are more people watching fucking Rogan, listening to Theo Vaughn. So it's like, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens to that theater, the Ed Sullivan Theater, where they make Colbert. And like I said, we were just there. It was weird, to be honest. They have got the theater like decorated like it's a church of like Saint Stephen Colbert. And his show is like very, very, I mean, it's been an important bastion, I think, on television for libtards like myself. I think they know that. I mean, Colbert has been one of the most outspoken kind of like rivals or whatever to Trump. I remember when he got elected the first time. I remember Colbert was live and his response was very dark and ominous and kind of foreshadowing, you know, was like kind of an appropriate register of what was happening. And, you know, Bruce Andrews said fucking Colbert is the smartest guy in America. And that's Bruce Andrews. He's a complete brainiac. You know, my parents watch Colbert on YouTube, right? It's kind of for... It's, you know, there are like aging boomers who, old hippies or whatever, they still have network. They still watch Colbert. It's still a part of their, and so, I don't know. It's, you know, we're going through the Kali Yuga, so we got to just be prepared for everything to get destroyed. That includes late night television, which, you know, weirdly has been like a famous kind of bastion of white guys. You know, there's not a lot of diversity there. What is it about that form that even makes it special? You know, the thing about Colbert, it feels, you know, when we went, you know, it felt like kind of a town square. He's in this theater. People come from all over the fucking country and the world to see him. People are obsessed with fucking Colbert. They do think he's like taking it to Trump, and so he's an asset. That's why they want to take him off. You know, Trump says he loves it. He loves that Colbert got canceled. You know, Colbert and Jon Stewart were sort of like the antidote to Fox News. I was just watching this movie, Irresistible. I recommend it to people. Jon Stewart directed it. It's all about politics, and Stephen Colbert plays like a DNC operative who goes to this small town to try to get this guy to turn it blue, basically. Directed by Jon Stewart. It was funny. It was truthful. It was interested in like the heartland. You know, not a lot of the fucking coastal media is. And so, I mean, those, like they said, those guys will land on their feet. You know, fucking Jon Stewart's already on YouTube. He's already, I mean, he does the Daily Show one day a week. I thought his movie was pretty fucking good. I don't know how many people have seen it, but he's a pretty good fucking director. You know, they could just as easily do anything they do online in a fucking podcast studio. You know, like Colbert, if he wants to continue to do that, he'll probably be more like Conan. You know how Conan has transitioned to like these long form video chat deep dives. And then he does like travel shows, shit like that on HBO. I hope this Colbert will get funny again. His show is kind of like sanctimonious, and it does feel like a lot of these comedians, he's trying to like force feed his idea of like what the right thing to do is down our throats. When, like, to be honest, he was a lot funnier when he was on Comedy Channel. When it was the Colbert Report, it was way fucking funnier. And when he got hired, he did kind of pull a switcheroo because he wasn't as funny. He didn't do that persona. He just kind of was himself and was very kind of earnest. And I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. He's super cringe, if you ask me. Watching his interviews and shit, they're super cringe. And I like the Colbert questionnaire. In fact, I wanted to do some of the questions. I like any of those kind of questions. I like when Craig Kilborn did 5 questions. I like the Proust questionnaire. So we were watching, we watched Bruce Springsteen do the Colbert questionnaire. We watched Owen Wilson do it. What's the best sandwich, everybody? They both said peanut butter and jelly. That's a horrible answer. The best sandwich, probably a Reuben, I would say. Something with sauerkraut on it. It's got to be something pastrami or corned beef. One of those. Trust me, I'm a sandwich expert, okay? So, just as far as comedians go, that's like one less job. Or at least, I don't know, I guess Andrew Schultz is the new Colbert. Take away somebody like Colbert, who by all accounts is super smart, super quick, super nice guy, super loving. I heard multiple people on his staff. This guy, Bill Carter, who wrote The Late Shift, which was a book I was obsessed with when I was a kid. It was about Jay Leno taking over The Tonight Show the first time. He's got a fucking blog, which is all about like the late night news and late night. So I was checking that out. Obviously, it's a bonanza. These late night moves, they always seem like so, oh my God, Conan is getting replaced by Jay, and they're getting rid of James Corden. Holy shit. So CBS just said, peace out. We don't need to do this anymore. We don't need to pay these libtards to make fun of our buddies. It's basically what happened to Norm Macdonald at Saturday Night Live. They said, hey, stop making fun of OJ. We play golf together. He said, fuck you. I mean, it is really scary, what the fuck. Because it's like this state control of the media via capitalism. But, I mean, not only capitalism, I guess he's president, he has to sign off on this. And so it's completely his personal vendetta. What is it? He sued 60 Minutes or something. This has been something that's been in the news for a long time. It's like Trump sued 60 Minutes, Leslie Stahl and shit, because of some interview or something they did with him. I don't know exactly the fine details, but CBS just basically paid out a bunch of fucking $16 million to Trump, which is insane if you think about it. I mean, when have you ever heard a major network paying the president $16 million? It kind of reminds me of when Howard Stern was getting fined by the FCC. That was the only time I can really remember the government like running somebody out of business in my lifetime. Where it's like Howard Stern had shit on his show, I mean, particularly in the 90s, right? That was like very envelope pushing. But during the 2000s, I don't know what changed. I think it was Bush, Bush, kind of Christian conservative. They attacked him a lot more. The FCC fined him to the point that was like it wasn't even profitable to be on. That's why he went to satellite radio. Because it's like there's no FCC oversight, whatever. This is the first time since then that I really feel like government has stepped in and basically forced like entertainment out of fucking business. It's kind of crazy. And it's, you know, the fucking beginning, you know, it's a more serious, right? Like the first Trump term, he was not really that effective. This is a win. You know, this is the network stepping in. You know, and Colbert is like the jester or whatever. He's speaking truth to power. Will his platform decrease? I don't know. I mean, his catering probably won't be as good. $100 million a year. It's like maybe the guy was fucking spoiled. He should have did a better fucking show. I don't know. He was winning in the ratings, which is crazy. But, I don't know. It's like CBS is just like shooting themselves in the foot despite their fucking leg or whatever. It's a dark day. Because now it's like, well, that was, you know, that was half the fucking late night. Where are those jobs going to go? Well, I don't know. That fantasy, that format, you know, why is that format so applicable to television with the desk and the curtain and the band and the, you know, the talk show thing, and it's just dying. And yet, you know, Joe Rogan's studio, they're basically just sitting at a fucking desk talking into condenser mics, and people sit and watch that for 3 hours. You know, I think in a certain way it is Colbert's fault for not, you know, he should be doing long form. He should be doing some kind of podcast. You know, Bill Maher's got Club Random. Colbert, first of all, he just doesn't seem like he liked his job. That was the impression when we saw him. He said something about how he just wanted to go home. It's like, fine, and get the fuck out of here. Get somebody that wants to do this job. Because he makes, you know, $20 million fucking dollars a year or whatever. It just seemed like he didn't want to fucking do it or be there. He was just kind of going through the motions. And he's smug. Colbert is like super smug. He's a nerd. Which, it's interesting how Steve Carell and Steve Colbert are like these weird kind of parallel. They both started at Second City. There's this TikTok account that popped up that's been showing me all these like Steve Carell, Colbert, Second City skits, which I'm super interested in. Because you never, you know, for as famous as Second City is, it's like you haven't really seen that much of that stuff. And yet their careers have kind of, you know, Colbert is like a fucking talk show host. But the way he hosts it is not, he's not really a stand-up. You know, you can tell he's more of an actor. He kind of tries to get by on like his physicality. But then Carell he's got this film career like he's fucking Robert De Niro or something. You know, he's in like movies about Vietnam vets. He's in serious movies. You know, he's in fucking Dan in Real Life. He's in fucking Little Miss Sunshine, you know, Foxcatcher. You know, it's like every once in a while Steve Carell. He's, you know, and I gotta say, the 4-Year-Old Virgin, I'd never seen it before. It's a very convincing performance. He reminds me of friends that I had that are like that are like action figure collecting, video game obsessed. He really, you know, for a comedian, he's got a little something extra that he's able to bring to like these dramatic roles and shit. And like The Big Short, or we watched Vice, or I should say I watched it. Ashley wasn't really interested. He plays Rumsfeld, right? I thought it was interesting to watch that with like the Oliver Stone W movie. Yeah. They're kind of about the same thing, but they're, you know, they have a little bit. The Vice movie takes a lot of weird stylistic. It's almost like Adam Curtis or Zeitgeist. There's a lot of very zeitgeisty kind of moments. Let's turn this around for a second. We're in Central Park, everybody. We'll just keep going here. Top fans, what the fuck does that do? Show the leaderboard. Be the first in the leaderboard by showing support. What the hell does that mean? Okay. Let me just... Maybe there's a place I can sit over here. And then we can really dig into these current events. The authoritarianism really taking hold. What are we going to do without Colbert? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, what's he going to do without us? You know, it'll probably come back to bite him in the ass. It just seems like CBS doesn't want to be in late night. I mean, for them to get rid of the Late Show, that's kind of, you know, because, I mean, it was never the Tonight Show, but it's like, you know, it's Ed Sullivan Theater. Letterman hosted it for a long time. Now Colbert. It does have some continuity to it. It's like you'd think they'd want that franchise to... Okay, there's like a picnic table over here. Maybe I'll sit at this for a sec. There's a bunch of picnic tables in this little... Here we're live in Central Park, everybody. It's finally kind of a nice day. It's not fucking 100 degrees outside. Colbert got fired. So yeah, what are they gonna do with this studio? They're gonna turn it into some kind of fucking ping pong, pickleball, private club for rich people. Like that's what they did with Caroline's, that comedy club on Broadway. Now it's like a spin. It's like a fucking ping pong. Susan Sarandon plays there. Or I was just reading the article about how they renovated the Cherry Lane Theater. A24 bought it because their story, they have artists who might want to connect with a live storytelling experience with like smaller audiences. Said they turned one of the black box theaters into a restaurant. Rich people in their goddamn restaurants. It's all they have. Well, they cannibalize. I mean, we see wealth and equality just like all over the fucking place in very obvious ways. I was watching this TikTok video. This guy was talking about how when they buy conjoined like townhouses and then join them together by like they gut renovating. There's this one on 4th Street and West 11th. It's like they bought 3 different townhouses and knocked down all the walls between it. So it's like one rich guy's house. It's like that is a living example of wealth inequality, where it's like literally that place could have housed and probably did house 30 fucking people 50 years ago or 100 years ago. And now it's going to have like literally one .com fucking billionaire or something living there. Somebody who created some kind of internet traffic. There was this video, it was all these stores that used to exist, all these big department stores or like booksellers, right? Borders. I can't even remember the names, but you know, like Toys R Us. There used to be this store, Children's Palace. And it's like they all started to go out of business right around the year 2000, like late 90s, early 2000s. And it's like, gee, I wonder what happened then. It's like, well, obviously fucking Amazon and the internet and shit. People just started to buy everything on the goddamn internet. The goddamn internet! And that's why they fired Colbert, because of the internet. Everybody does everything on streaming now, and they're watching... And everybody's live or something, or you know, personalized TikTok feeds, I suppose. So I don't know. I mean, everybody can kind of see this coming. It's kind of amazing that the Tonight Show is still a thing, right? Because Fallon is kind of sinking. I mean, even Trump said something about that. He said Kimmel's next. And he didn't even name Fallon. I don't even think he knows his name. He's like that guy on the Tonight Show who ruined a once great franchise. You know, this is something, you know, the reason why I talk about this is because it was something that, like, growing up with was like a dream or something. These talk show hosts, like, they represent a certain place in our society. They're almost like the anti-president, or they're like the president of comedy, or the president of, like, being a smartass or something. Like, if you're Johnny Carson, right, who's like kind of the gold standard, it's like he almost was like a foil. He was like this mirror. Any president, you know, the presidents came and went, but Johnny Carson was there for 30 fucking years. Like a king or something, right? And of course, that's legacy media. There was this article in the New York Times about Gary Steingart, who teaches at Columbia. Ashley had a class with him. And he's like, the article was all about how he's like the last novelist. It's all about how he's like the last person who will ever get paid to be a writer, to be a novelist. And it's like the whole article is just like wealth porn about his clothes. He's got all these expensive fucking clothes in his apartment. And maybe I'll go over to this other table and kind of like near this. And it's like, oh, this is just fucking disgusting. Like, it's another example of wealth inequality. Most people who are writers don't make any fucking money. They're self-publishing. And yet Gary Schneider is like the 1%. Because he's like comedic. I mean, I haven't read Gary Steingart. Gary Steingart. I haven't read any of his books. But I'm going to talk shit about them. Because I'm like aware of them. They're in the, you know, they're in the New York Review of Books, and they're at the fucking bookstore. They're everywhere. They just seem like all of the shit. It's just like comedy. That's like the only thing anybody can fucking even stand anymore. It's just like, even Ben Lerner's book was like, this is just basically a self-deprecating, neurotic comedy about this guy's interior monologue. It's like, enough already. Why does everything have to be fed to us through like self-deprecating like this? Endless, compelling. And so Gary Steingart is one of the last people who will ever make money being a novelist. Can you believe that? Because of AI, and people are not reading. I mean, I just inhaled all of these articles about the novel no longer matters really culturally. You know, like there's no leading novelist that's like a cultural, like Norman Mailer or some shit, or Philip Roth, or John Updike, or I don't even know, Kurt Vonnegut maybe. There was a lot of like famous, Joan Didion. Where have all the novelists gone? And sort of like, you know, the novel being, I think like a lot of shit, it's, you know, it's never going to go like theater or poetry or whatever. It's like it occupies this little niche kind of interest. You know, the people that have means and they're obsessed with it will continue to do it and keep it alive. But is it going to be like all of this shit, you know, like mass legacy media type shit. It's like, get an Instagram poetry account and start writing autofiction already, okay? It's over. The novel thing is over. It's all prompts now, okay? It's all just chat GPT prompts. You have to teach your students how to write prompts. I was reading this article, Megan O'Rourke, her journey with AI as a professor, as told to the New York Times op-ed section. And her getting to know AI and having like some kind of weird AI. She said it's like having a really snappy, peppy intern. who does things, you know, in a flash. So I, you know, as creatives, right, that's going to be our job, is to like prompt AI to execute our ideas for us. I guess that's cool. We're all going to be like Jeff Koons now. We're going to have like a studio with like all of our fucking little minions or whatever of AI chat GPT bots that destroy the environment because they use so much fucking electricity and water. The data centers are just absolutely mega polluting of Superfund information about us, stalking, mega stalking conglomerates. The nuclear reactor of stalking. What, you know, bring back Hot or Not. Okay, that's one of my big crusades. What the fuck happened to Hot or Not? And how did our society just I mean, Facebook is basically Hot or Not, but like in kind of, or at least that's how it started. It was a way to kind of scope out hot people. That's why they invented it. It was a stalking device, basically. Remember Hot or Not? It was sort of like Tinder, where it was like yes or no. It's like this person is hot or not. And that's all. And then they somehow computed that into like a numerical score. They gave you a very accurate idea of how hot you were. I think that would be a valuable. That would obviously make $1 billion. That would be the #1 app. Why don't they bring that back? Society would probably just fall apart or something. Everybody would just start killing each other. That would be the final. I mean, Instagram is sort of like Hot or Not because, I mean, all these apps sort of have a Hot or Not component built in because, like, it's all about engagement and it's all about views and how long you watch something. It's like, of course you're going to watch somebody hot for longer. Like, we're all stalkers inherently. We're all voyeurs or whatever. And so, like, or I don't know, we're interested in hot people, I think. That's just part of being alive, is being interested in hot people. We can't help it. And so everything sort of has an element of Hot or Not. Like Instagram, it's like if you're a hot chick or guy, I suppose, if you're just a hot person, you can turn that into a career now. I mean, hot people have never had more. As if they didn't have enough already from just being hot. It's now they can turn that hotness into like wealth. And they don't even have to like do commercials or anything. They don't even have to learn how to like be, you know, commercial actors or anything like that, or get their photo taken for a catalog. It's just like they can just literally post a fit video once a day with some cool song. It's like if you're hot, it's like, oh my God, 600,000 people liked it. Do you know Yesly? Yesly is like the new movie star. You know, if you're not on TikTok, if you don't know, all Yesly does is like lip sync to like, you know, pre-recorded sound clips from like movies and shit. And they're really good at it. It's almost like a silent movie. It's like a pantomime. But there is a lot of emotional intelligence in it because it's like you are interpreting the sound through your facial expressions. Women have, you know, they're more about emotional intelligence than men, I think. Like, that's a common complaint women have about men, is that men are not emotionally intelligent. Something like that, I think, is all about emotional intelligence. It's like she's extrapolating, you know, micro expressions through this audio that she's able to, like, enact like a fucking cartoon character. I mean, she looks like a Disney. You know, she's got big eyes. She looks like fucking, you know, a composite of all the Disney characters. And so, you know, I don't know, for what I think things that get popular, at least on YouTube and TikTok, it's like they have to appeal to children somehow. The things that I've seen get a lot of views, like, have some weird kind of like Disney cartoon kind of facial exaggeration that sort of speaks across cultures or something. And like speaks to, like, I don't know, maybe the child in all of us. But Yesly is now like, it's interesting to see somebody tailor their life into like this foreign movie and shit, and like sort of start to penetrate the culture. Like McGee just did the Bieber album, right? I like Bieber. I haven't heard the whole album, but we did listen to one of the songs the other day. It's like, that's pretty smart of Bieber to be like clocking McGee and standing on business. And I guess McGee like produced his album or fucking, how am I doing here? I mean, is this like choppy? Is it, I had 6 people watching, now I have 2 people. It's because I started talking about Bieber and McGee. You know, like, these are the new Colberts. These are the new fucking, like, stars. You know, like, somebody like Yesley. There's probably fucking millions of people all over the world who, like, know who that is, who are, like, fans of that because they're, like, little TikTok consumers. If you can become, like, what is it, Subway Chat or whatever that fucking show is where they hold the Metro card. It's like, that is the new fucking... We all know it, right? We all know it. It doesn't even... It's not even worth talking about, but... That's why Colbert got fired, because, like, honestly, it is kind of on its way out anyway. Maybe CBS has bigger plans where they're just going to sort of pull up stakes in their whole fucking network. And it will just be Paramount Plus. I mean, if it's acquired by Skydance, that guy's Larry Ellison's kid. He's probably some fucking Ayn Rand objectivist fucking idiot. Crypto douchebag. And so I'm sure he doesn't have any compunction whatsoever about cutting whatever they have to cut. Isn't he a South Park fan? He's got to be a South Park fan. I mean, all of these sort of like libertarian dumbasses are. Doesn't he care about South Park, the fate of South Park? You know, whoever thought South Park was going to get disrupted? Those guys were just happy in their own little world. That show's been on for 30 fucking years. And they seem to be just, like, satisfied by Casa Bonita or whatever. And they're just going to keep making fucking South Park till they die. And then here comes this bullshit. The authoritarian tech oligarchy kind of crackdown on free speech, on... I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in these places, because, I mean, YouTube is already pretty right-wing, and I can't imagine they're going to start to promote anything that's in opposition. You know, if they want to, they can control what we see. They can control what videos get seen, whose content gets seen, who gets to make money making posts, and who doesn't. Maybe I'll talk about New York Poetry Festival for a second. So last weekend was New York City Poetry Festival. It is a time-honored tradition here on the open mic circuit of post-millennium New York City poetry, local poetry. That's what I like about it. It reminds me of, like, the stuff I went to growing up, ComFest in Columbus, Ohio, or Columbus Arts Festival, where it's like, if you're an artist, you can just be very hands-on and just do your thing. They give you an opportunity to do that. It's not like some snobby, exclusionary private school thing like Brooklyn Art Book Fair, or, you know, any of that stuff at, like, Knockdown Center or wherever the hell they do at McCarran Park. Zine, you know, it's like you kind of have to be some kind of cool, which, you know, that's what they do, is they vet, and if you're pre-approved, you can be a part of that. Where it's like, New York Poetry Festival is very open source, it's very DIY, it's all people who are just in it for the love of the game, and it's, you know, it's people that you recognize from just, like, out in the actual bars at the actual readings in the city. You know, it's not the, you know, there's a higher echelon, I guess, if you want to look at that way. People read at Lillian Vernon Writer's House, or, you know, those big kind of like money places. But it's like, for the local culture of like open mics, people who trade each other's and I don't know, that's the best way and the most honest way that I know of to engage as an artist. I feel like if you're outside of the institutions, if you're outside of MFA culture, you can make a studio and a place for yourself as an artist by going to open mics, presenting your work there, meeting other artists there, publishing shit, handing it out, selling it. New York City Poetry Festival gives you the tools you need to just do all of those things as a poet that are like part of your trade and like the business side, I guess. It's a way to just DIY where it's like you print your own book, you book your own reading, you book people to read. It's this conglomeration and this summit. It's the Coachella of all the fucking crazy ass. I feel like there are certain people who like feel like they're above it, who have started to not show up. Like there's certain people that think they're too cool for the New York City Poetry Festival. And then there's people who it's like the greatest day of their life. And it's the greatest day of the year. And for me, I mean, it's definitely one of the most memorable, and it's one of like the anchor flagship events. I guess that's AWP is probably kind of like this for people that like have jobs. For people that are part of the public, the big university business. What are they going to do when ChatGPT is doing everything? Everybody with an MFA teaches English comp. Every single person I know with an MFA teaches English 100 and maybe a workshop, but almost always English 100. And it's like, what are they going to do? ChatGPT is going to take all of that activity. But it's not AWP. It's more like a funky kind of bizarre. There's the poetry brothel. It's like a pirate fucking carnival, off the coast of Manhattan. It's a magical, you go down to downtown, New Amsterdam with all the windy kind of like finance district shit, which is already magical. You're already transported to like Ichabod Crane's fucking New York. And then you get on a ferry. So you're on a boat, you're getting hit in the face with the surf and the wind. It's the sky, the bridges, the whole fucking shebang is laid out for you. The reason why you're here paying, $1,100 a month in rent for a closet in fucking East New York. So you can do shit like this. So then you hit the island like it's fucking D-Day. You storm the beaches of Governor's Island. And it is a military base. I mean, Governor's Island was a military base for 200 fucking years. Because it's strategic. It's in the harbor. There's a fortress on it. I think Bush decommissioned it, ironically. Or Clinton, I think, started. And so, I don't know why. I guess tactically it's just not useful anymore. In the age of modern warfare, it's no longer necessary for some reason. But then 9/11 happened, so maybe if they wouldn't have decommissioned Governor's Island, they could have prevented 9/11, who knows. But in any case, I just think spiritually, it's amazing that they allow us to be this, shout out to all of the Poetry Society of New York for letting us, take ownership of it in a very, small way, but it's like, I've been lucky to host a stage the last few years, so it's like I get to be there the whole day. I get to kind of like, weave my own thoughts through it, get to see a lot of different poets, get to host a reading, have friends read, and it's a beautiful event. It's just a beautiful day trip from the fucking hell, as somebody who doesn't get to go to the Hamptons or upstate or to fucking St. Bart or Italy. This is our Amalfi Coast, this is our closest, this is our fucking carnival cruise. It's the poetry cruise, there's the Weezer cruise. And so, I don't know, there's not that many things in our society that are not super corporate, that are not super controlled. It's just an event for poets, by poets, and it's on this fucking island like goddamn Alcatraz or something. So it's like, you're going to this kind of ice. So it's almost like Burning Man or something, where it's like a colony, where you sort of make your own rules. Governor's Island has a lot of art studios. It's all these cool old, all the barracks and shit. It looks like an old university campus or something. It looks like it could be a college in the fucking Midwest. But it's kind of abandoned, and abandoned properties are like such a inspirational place for like poetry, Tintern Abbey and shit like that, New York used to have that kind of abandoned quality, in the 70s. That's what you hear. Now we live in the renovated, developed city where it's like they don't leave things alone. Governor's Island, of course they want to develop it. Who knows how much longer it'll last, but I heard they want to build some big hotel or something. They want to build some huge, like, resort on Governor's Island. They want to develop it. It's too valuable to not. They could make that into a little, Montauk or something, 15 minutes from Manhattan, if they wanted to. Like I said, it's been a military base, and then it's basically been in kind of disused. That's, of course, so the poets went there and used it, and the artists. That, we know that's not going to last. They'll build a casino. They'll build a Trump Taj Mahal or something. Some kind of Jay-Z endorsed, art-washed mega hotel, just like they did in East River Park. They want to develop everything. Domino Park. They'll put miniature golf and taco stands there, but it's like, it's just another private kind of corporate space for rich people. At least I saw plans where they want to extend the south of Manhattan like they did in Battery Park. Like, a lot of lower Manhattan is already landfill. It wasn't actually there. They like built it in with trash and shit. So they had a plan where they wanted to extend Manhattan to encompass Governor's Island, like build it. So they built it onto Governor's Island and like around Governor's Island to like make Governor's Island part of like an extended, like, adding twice as much land mass or something to Manhattan. Obviously I'm not sure if that might just be some kind of pie in the sky space age thinking, but I'm sure there's eyes on it to turn it into some kind of fucking private. That's what's happening increasingly more and more, is it's just like these are like private clubs. A24 bought the Cherry Lane Theater. They're going to use it kind of for their own little experiments and shit, but like they have their own wealth that allows them to do that. It's not like a local fucking business or something. It's not like some off-Broadway theater company. It's like, John Mulaney's going to do a fucking show there, or fucking, Emma Stone or something. Adam Driver. It'll just be another, like, whatever they did with the Lucille Lortel Theater. That theater they sort of turned into like this like Hollywood. Sofia Coppola is going to curate a weekly movie. That's where I saw Sofia Coppola and Romy Mars in front of that fucking theater, and they ran away. When they saw my selfie stick, they were like, oh my God, we have to get away from this. The content creators have invaded. Sorry to spoil the little Magnolia Bakery cupcake party, but real people live here too, okay? And we're just trying to make $1 with our fucking shitty Yap sessions online. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's always fucking been this way. The Waldorf Astoria, just, it's all fucking... Well, one of the things about the Waldorf Astoria reopening is it's like it's half as many rooms, or it's like a fraction of the rooms. And it's $1,500 a night for like the cheapest room. It's like, I mean, I guess it is the fucking Waldorf Astoria, but... The rooms are like twice as big, but there's not as many of them, right? So this is like, it's another indication that there's less people with more money now. It's just another like wealth transfer, another wealth inequality where it's like, they don't need as many rooms because there's not as many customers, because there's not as many people with that much fucking money. There's fewer people that have more money, that want more. They want super yachts. They want more space. They want to take a Blade helicopter. or a $400 million private plane, or Epstein private jet. They're on the flight log. Yeah, so anyway, okay, New York City Poetry Festival. I was only there for one day. It's hard enough to get down there once. And I don't know. It's just like, it just kind of ended up. It can be like that. You know, I've been doing it for over 10 years. I've been going to New York City Poetry Festival for over 10 years. I've been reading at it for 10 years. So it's like, I love to do it. It's definitely like a highlight of the year. It's an opportunity to make money, to sell books, to touch base with people, say hello to people you might not have seen. But it's also like, I don't know. At this point, it's a lot of my exes. You know, it's old friends that I haven't seen in a while. So it's like, I don't know. People act like you're a ghost, you know, just because you haven't been to their fucking poetry open mic. They're like, Jesus Christ, we haven't seen you in a couple years. It's like, well, I'm at KGB every fucking Monday. You know, I'm on fucking YouTube all the time. Like, you know, like, I was just on the Adam Friedland show. Hundreds of thousands of people saw it. So, it's a beautiful summit. It's like a conference for all of the outcasts, the outsiders, the real outside poets, you know, the people that just, you know, force themselves. And I don't know, there's also kind of a sadness to it. There's just like a sadness to all these people that like need to get up in front of people and read their poetry. It's like, what is this about? It's therapeutic. It's sharing feelings. I think now more than ever we need to hear this stuff. Like they fired Colbert. They're silencing, you know, the oppositional voices. So these open mics, these local gatherings, these in-person gatherings are like more important than ever. And the poetry festival is like the hive. It's like the cluster of everybody coming who's got an open mic or a reading. You know, it's everybody in Brooklyn, it's everybody in New Jersey, whoever's left in Manhattan, Bronx, Queens. People from out of state come. I met a guy from Wisconsin. You know, people that might only come into New York once a year, they come in for that. And it, you know, people get to, if you don't get to read, you feel like you missed out. And if you do get to read, you get to feel special about yourself. Like, ooh, I get to read out. You know, the weather's always nice. Not always, but, you know, we've been lucky. This year it was beautiful. Sunshine, warm. You're out, you know, it's like I said, it's this kind of wild ruin. There's grass, there's trees. You know, which for New York, like that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's hard enough to get there that you really don't go there more than once a year, but it's not so hard that it's like it's not that big a deal. You know, it's like it's totally worth the trip. If you're in New York and you've never been, like, even if you don't like poetry, there's people that sell other shit. There's people selling art and like fucking weird new agey trinkets and shit. Like, it isn't just poetry. And like, I don't know, poetry's having a moment where it is like all these young fucking cool people that, you know, it's a counterweight and it's an antidote to all the dumbass comedy culture. As far as I know, there is no equivalent in comedy where it's like this outdoor panoply of like all these different you know, that's one of the most beautiful things. You can just walk around and you just hear the reverberations of all these different poems happening at once. You hear this stage, the Blackbird stage, and the open mic stage, and the Brinkley, and you hear a little, you know, it's like they kind of fade in and out in this like stereo kind of pan. And you can just sample a bunch. I mean, it's also one of these things where it's like there's too much to do. You can't possibly see everything you want to see. But, you know, like the features this year, Eileen Miles was, you know, it was packed, hundreds of people laying in this fucking cool And it's, you know, I think it's $10 or something, but if you're a reader, if you're a volunteer, it's like you get in for free. They were giving away dabs in the fucking VIP tent. And edibles. Speaking of which, I've still got these edibles. I forgot about those. They gave me free edibles and a dab at the fucking New York City Poetry Festival, and what could be better? I didn't bring my own dab rig. There's food trucks. Okay, so our reading went really well, I thought. I kind of jokingly did like a competition at the open mic on Monday where I was just like, you know, I'll just people from the open mic will win a spot to read at the festival, because you know, the thing is, a lot of people don't know about it, but like once you hear about it, it's like, oh fuck, this is cool. I want to be a part of this. If you're, you know, if you're just like an open mic person, it's pretty cool. If you're, you know, if you're in the Paris Review or something, it's like you're probably above that. But for the rest of us losers and rabble, it's our one chance to just show off and force ourselves in front of, you know, people that just came out to have a nice day on Governor's Island who happened to be there. Or, you know, people that may have heard about it and just kind of like want to check it out, who don't necessarily know anything in particular. It's like there's always an audience, you know, there's always 20 or 30 or 40 people just kind of, so it's just a beautiful fucking day. And but it's a lot of pressure because it's like once a year and you're like, oh, I got to do good at this. And a lot of times I usually have to read early. They usually put us on at like 11:30, 12:30. It's like, I like going later in the day. This year we went at 5 p.m. It's like, because it's like you don't have to rush to get there. People can kind of take their time. The sun's going down. The energy's kind of coming down. The light kind of has this, like now, you know, it's kind of got this nice. They usually put us on early in the day, though. This year, you got to pick your own slot, so I picked later in the day. And so, like I said, I must have blacked out at the open mic or something, because I forgot how many people I asked. I think I was just trying to ensure that I'd get enough people, but I think I asked like 7 or 8 people, which I do not remember doing. But they all did great, you know. We were lucky to have Billy Lamont. Billy Lamont's kind of our perennial headliner. Shout out to Billy Lamont. Anytime he wants to come out and read at Poetry Festival, we're happy to have him. Definitely. He's our anchor. It's a tradition. So he was kind of our headliner. And then there's always great poets at the open mic. So the people that were there who I sort of knew and liked and blah, 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 I was just like, hey, you want to read at the fucking, you won a spot. It's like a reality show. Everybody loves reality shows, and like it's like gamifying poetry, you know. You win. You're a loser. You get to come to Love Island. You get to come to Paradise Island, the poetry utopia, which we need now more than ever. You know, it's a place where it's almost like Occupy Wall Street in a way, where it's like this living biome of a poetry republic. Bolinas. Too bad we can't all just live there. Why can't we just do New York Poetry Festival all year? I would do that. If I could live on Governor's Island in one of those, like, you know, apartments with like a porch and shit. It's like a house. I absolutely would do that. And just take the ferry into fucking Manhattan whenever you needed to like do open mics or work or whatever. I absolutely would move to Governor's Island right now. Let's make it Poetry Island. Let's just squat there. We're never going to leave Governor's Island. It's just going to be New York Poetry Festival all year round. It's our residency, goddammit. It's our right as the unacknowledged legislators of the world. It's our right to live on Governor's Island, to live on Poetry Island. Yeah, so we had a fucking awesome lineup. Billy Lamont started. There was nobody booked before us. And so I was the host of the stage. It was like we actually had more than half an hour. We had like maybe like 50 minutes because people were going late, but Billy Lamont was able to do like 10, 15 minutes. And then each, we had like 6 readers or something, and who they all get to go. So we had Oliver Bear, which was awesome. Jeff Conge read. He read White Pussy, which I loved. Thank you for reading that powerful, important, truthful poem. Lisa came out. She was awesome. Fucking Franz. I forget what his FX Strom Glittering, I think is his name now. Pemberton read a poem about the sea. I read some of my new... So I interlaced the day with some of my radical new atomic nuclear poems, which I don't know what kind of impact they made on people. I have no idea. No one's really commented. I don't really care. I believe in them. And then I like to start the day with a poem and like end with a poem and like, try to put poems throughout the day when I'm doing my hosting, so it's like I like to, because it's a ritual. So I like to start the day with a poem that like has some kind of resonance with like beginning or like the beginning of the day or whatever, the sun or something. And then I end the day with a poem. So today, that day, our reading went really well. I mean, the live stream fucked up for some reason. I did try to live stream it, but like I was doing a million different things, and like we are on like this island, so it's like the reception is not necessarily that. It worked last year. I don't know what happened this year, but the live stream fucked up for some reason. Like, it's the first poetry festival I've done in forever that I didn't get on tape, which I'm kind of pissed about. Because the reading actually went really well, and like there was a lot of different people that read. So it's like I wish I would have just had my video camera and just filmed the fucking thing and uploaded it. But, I don't know. I've been recording so many fucking readings recently. It's like, well, I wish I recorded more of the day because, so after we went, as the thing is, and my friend Hannah from LA read. She's in from California. So that was cool, too, that she's in from California and she got to get up and read. She'd never been to the festival before. So, of course, it's a super fun thing. If you've never done it before, it's like, holy shit, this is awesome. And I get to read at this. It's like, wow. So, in any case, as we're sort of wrapping up, I look out in the audience and I see Eileen Miles is in the audience of our fucking stage. So I'm like, oh, shit. Like, this is extra pressure because it's like we want to impress Eileen Miles, the greatest poet alive, and like, do they remember me? I don't know. So it turns out the people that went after us were these poets. They were Russian, I think. Shout out to Interpoetia. Their organization is called Interpoetia, and so they had Eileen Miles go up and read because they had translated some of Eileen Miles' poems into Russian. I guess it was Eileen Miles' Russian translator. And so Eileen Miles went up on our stage, on the White Horse stage, at the end of the day and read some of their poems. And then they had the Russian. Then they read them in Russian. So we ended the day with Eileen Miles on our stage, the headliner of the festival, in Russian. It was a pretty incredible finale. I wish I had that on tape. I wish I had like our reading and their reading on tape. I wish that was on YouTube. But I didn't have my camcorder. The fucking AC adapter on it broke, so I haven't ordered a new one yet. Which I should have done, but I've just been live streaming everything. I've literally been live streaming the open mic and whatever shows or whatever I do for like the last 6 months or whatever. So it's actually been kind of better this way. That was the first time it ever kind of backfired. The live stream can be very temperamental. You know, it can disconnect, it can slow down, it can skip. Like, I don't know what the open mic is. Do people like the live stream better? Was it better when I filmed it with my camera? There's something that feels more secure about, like, filming it on a video camera. The live stream feels like kind of brittle or something. And it has cut out at times. This is the new world we're in as creators. I mean, even fucking Netflix has these problems when they try to live stream Raw or whatever. It's like there will just be like a huge outage. It's like you don't really have that problem with cable television. You know, in a certain way, these changes all seem so arbitrary. That's why it's so staggering that they're like, does it really fucking matter that Colbert's not going to be on CBS? Most people watched on YouTube anyway. And it's like, he should have been smart like Bill Maher. He should have already had a Club Random going on. He should have had some kind of Club Steven or something. So when he got axed by the network, he'd have... But no, he wants to spend time with his kids. Fuck you. Go home and play with your kids. I don't know. I mean, these things are kind of antiquated as it is, you know. So, we're just being accelerationist. Late night needs to die already. I mean, people have been talking shit about it for over a decade. There's been a lot of discourse in the media about, is late night dead? Why is late night this kind of like outdated white guy? They're all white guys. How is this still a thing? Why do you need a desk? Why do you need a fucking curtain? Why does it have to be that way? I mean, Colbert is this kind of like the way he does, you know, these podcasts do ads just like a radio show or something from the 30s. It's just Bill Maher will read the fucking ad, or Theo Vaughn, or whoever it is, Tim Dillon. They'll just read the ad in the middle of the fucking stream, or some kind of pre-recorded read. It's like that to the sponsor, I guess, is more targeted, or it's just as good as spending money on fucking CBS. Apparently more people watch Gutfield than Colbert or any of the other hosts, which I think says more about who watches those things. You know, like the people who watch Fox News are people who have not moved into the 21st century. It's like they still have fucking landline cable. You know, people don't watch Colbert on CBS. They watch John Oliver on YouTube, or they watch clips of Colbert, or they listen to fucking long podcasts. Or watch fucking Amy Poehler's podcast or something. I don't know. They watch Smartless. They watch Tim Heidecker. Office Hours. I mean, the people that I know that watch Colbert are like my parents and Bruce Andrews. And they watch him on, I mean, my parents watch him on YouTube. They literally watch, and like I've started to watch Colbert's monologue and shit on YouTube just because it's like, in the wake of the election, it felt like, well, this is one of like the liberal things on fucking YouTube. It's like after you've watched Richard Wolff or, you know, Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, their uploads to YouTube, it's like they'll just upload 20 minutes of Jon Stewart on Epstein or whatever. And it's usually, and then he's got his fucking podcast, The Problem or whatever the hell it is, where he basically just records a Zoom call That's all these fucking shows are. It's just like a fucking Zoom call. And they record it. It's like that's all fucking fly on the wall is. It's like we're going to do a Zoom call with John Hamm and record it. And put it, and that's equal to spending $100 million a year on fucking The Late Show. Which nobody seems to give a fuck about as like a brand. They just sort of acknowledge like all of this shit. It's like, it's decentralized now. New York doesn't matter now. The Ed Sullivan Theater doesn't matter now. Network television doesn't matter now. It's like you gotta be Dan Bilzerian. Are you hot or not? Get as hot as you possibly can get and try to monetize it and yap. Figure out some kind of way to be charming to the algorithm. Figure out how to bewitch the algorithm. There's this guy on TikTok. He's blonde. He's got kind of like MacGyver hair. But his face is like, I don't know. He looks like Dave Thomas or like... And it's like this guy pops up in my TikTok feed like literally every other fucking video with his take on what... And he just takes forever. He just like... Yep. So, and then it's like, how are people watching these fucking videos? This guy's video's got like 80,000 likes. It's got, you know, he's got 1 million followers. It's like, I don't dislike his content, but I haven't heard him make a salient point about anything yet that I'm like, oh, I get why this guy's like this leading fucking... I think with content, it's like you need an angle. It's like if you have like a frame other than just like, hey, this is me giving my 2 cents on whatever it is, or here's me playing acoustic guitar. You need some kind of angle on it. Like you have to pretend you're a character, or you have to become a character or something. Like Savannah Banana guy. Make yourself yellow. This one girl popped up in my TikTok who has done the open mic. She does Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco. So it's like she does this Selena Gomez like joke. It's like, well, people know who that is. The guy's like on his knees, you know, because Benny Blanco's short. Ha ha ha. Height shaming. And then there was this one stand-up comedian who used to do the open mic. She did Kamala, and she was really good at Kamala. So it's like, it's a shame that Kamala didn't get elected, because she would have had like a career probably from that. Because she did a really good Kamala impression. It's like you need some kind of like your account has to have a hook. It has to have a brand. It has to have a character. It has to have a... something that like fictionalizes it for people, or like gives it like some kind of dramatic, endearing quality. Like a Disney character. Like it's weird how people will just like believe in characters, you know, like if you really believe in a character and you're detailed about it, that shit will take off. It sounds kind of stupid when it's not famous, or like it's somebody that's like just creating it. You're like, oh yeah, Superman, that sounds really fucking dumb. But it's like, you know, if it's branded enough, that shit, you know, Star Wars characters, you know, it's like this shit is more real to people than real life. You know, just a drawing of like Peter Griffin or something. There's this one comedian, it's like it's just like he sings Family Guy fucking theme song for like 15 minutes. And like the audience will sit there for this. Because they were raised watching goddamn Family Guy DVDs. well, we live in such an auto-fiction, right? Like, just document your life type thing. But even that, it's like, get ready with me. I'm a first-year art student in New York or whatever it is. Get ready with me. My day as an intern at Vogue. Day in the life of a whatever the hell it is. A fashion influencer. Just making money off of your clothing taste. Your ability to put a look together. Who would have thought that would have been like such a fucking monetizable skill? Just having like an awesome wardrobe. Taking pictures, taking little videos of yourself and putting them on TikTok. I don't know. This is, yeah. That's what the Colbert thing, you know, that's the writing on the wall with that. And, well, also, it's just like, is there going to be like just across the board kind of like shutting down of dissident anti-Trump content creators? You know, it feels like the beginning of some kind of new era. You know, Nixon didn't have Johnny Carson fucking get fired. Or Tom Schneider. Or wait, I heard something about they canceled the Smothers Brothers. NBC canceled the Smothers Brothers because they were too against the Vietnam War. And so, you know, is this different than that? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes type shit. Getting eaten alive by flies all of a sudden. Where the fuck did these things were not here just 1 second ago? And now they're all up in my business. So yeah, I think I made $50 at New York City Poetry Festival. I got some of my books distributed. You know, I've been bad. I've been sitting on ever since my shit got flooded in that storage. You know, I've been sitting on these goddamn books, but it's just like, I just want to get them out there. People should be reading them. People should have them. You know, I'd like to make money off them, but like, it's also just like, I want to make as much money as I can, but like, I also just want people to have them. You know, so they know about my writing. It isn't just like sitting in a fucking box somewhere. They can spend time with it and do a more close reading. Try to figure out what's really going on there. Maybe there's a method to the madness. Okay, so I mean, it seems like people are already sort of, I mean, people are still talking about the Epstein, but like, now everybody's talking about the Colbert thing. It's just weird. The headlines today were nuts because it's like half Epstein shit, half Colbert shit. It's just like there's so much shit flying. It's insane. There's so much shit flying through the air. Apparently there's some kind of nude drawing. There's this one thing that apparently Trump wrote this scene or like some kind of script between. I highly doubt that he wrote it because it's actually really well done. It's really fucking crazy. Have people read this? It's like Trump and it's like him and Epstein. It was for Epstein's like 50th birthday or something, and it's like enigmas never age or something. Oh God. A bird literally just took a shit right in front of me. I don't think any of it got on me. The birds are like, shut the fuck up, get out of here. Epstein's not real. It's because I started talking about the truth. They've got the CIA birds up there. The drone birds. You know birds aren't real. They're not real, they're all drones. They're all controlled by the people that control the weather. Yeah, so that's good luck, right? A bird just took a shit right in front of me. Can we get a shot of that real fast? There you go. So yeah, the bad guys are tightening their grip. The Empire, Darth Vader, the Emperor. Trump has got some kind of disease. That's the other newest. Well, because people have been sharing these pictures of his ankles. His ankles are super swollen. He's got the most hardcore case of the cankles I've ever seen in my life. He's cankled the fuck out. And so they said he's got some kind of fucking CVI or some kind of fucking thing, venal thrombro. It's apparently it's not life-threatening. Unfortunately, it's like not a big deal. It's like kind of not that normal. I mean, old people, they just get fat ankles. What can you say? You know, it's not well. The conspiracy theory is his health is deteriorating quickly. This is just one indicator, right, that Trump's health is deteriorating quickly. I mean, he's got to be stressed as fuck because, you know, I mean, he's the drama queen of all time ever. And I mean, these first 6 months, we're all just tired. We're all fucking tired. Okay? We're all tired. I mean, well, that's one thing I wanted to talk about is I feel like we all are busted. Like, oh my God, everybody I've seen recently, I'm just like, Jesus, we all look like shit. We all look way worse than we did a year ago because of what we've been put through. It's been so fucking stressful and depressing, and they cut our Medicaid, and I don't know. I don't even know. It's just we're all a lot worse for wear. We've put a lot of mileage on. I mean, my hair is like gray. My eyes are all fucking wrinkly and shit. There's all these guys doing pull-ups over here that are totally jacked. Wow. I mean, these guys have got to be models or something. They're like insanely jacked. And maybe this is some kind of pull-up club or something. Ladies, you want to find yourself a hot guy, get into this pull-up club. I think they've got Adam Levine over here. These guys are jacked as hell. Yeah, so we're all stressed. You know, we're all just aging rapidly. We're all falling apart. We're all coming unwound. But we're fighting, we're here, we're strong. That's just history. You know, when you're subject to these devastating historical, you know, myself included. I'm including myself in the people that are, look at this. Look at the hair on my chinny chin chin. I'll tell you, it wasn't white last year. Trump did that. Okay, that's Trump. I blame Trump. Another thing that I blame Trump about. I blame all my problems on Trump. That's the convenient thing about having Trump. You just get to blame him for everything. Yes. It's not my fault. I'm just gonna like take no responsibility. It's just all Trump. It's Trumpflation. Trump wealth transfer. Trump canceling Medicaid. Trump canceling South Park. Trump canceling fucking Colbert. You know, you'd think if they would have left anything alone, it'd be South Park. It's like it's a cash cow. Those guys just do their own thing. They've been doing it forever. They're consistent. Their fans love it. I don't know if it's still funny or not. Is it like The Simpsons where it just totally sucks ass? Probably, but who knows? South Park might be still kind of funny. Why not just let them fucking do their thing? And Paramount, what are they? They're banking on what? The Frasier reboot? What's going to anchor that Paramount Plus, Picard. They should be nice to these people that are like part of their adolescent male, demographic. Who else is going to appeal to the soy boy or the left wing or the Arrested Development video gaming middle American? I mean, this Jon Stewart movie, Irresistible, it seemed to be about... He seemed like he knew about middle America. I mean, at the end of the movie, the middle Americans get one over on the slick Washington, D.C. Steve Carell's riding in this private jet, drinking wine, eating haricot vert. It's green beans. He's got Chris Cooper in it. I don't know. We're trying to learn as fast as we can via movies about our culture, what's going on, trying to grasp this fucking situation so we can regurgitate it out here in my own little platform, my own little show. Because that's what this is. This is just the most low budget, no concept naturalism. This is television naturalism. No script, no lights, no crew, no editing, just walking around, pontificating. And who knew that this Skydance thing was going to be such a... Like I said, I had mentioned it about a year ago or something and just thought, why did I even talk about that? That was such a... I was just trying to just throw anything out there. But it's like, you never know what is going to pop up later. That was one thing that the Vice movie did very well, I thought, was, fucking Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld were in the White House under Nixon. And so it shows right away that they were always close to power. They were the low guys on the totem pole. He was just an intern or whatever, basically. But he was there the whole time, right? And that's kind of how life works. I mean, you got to wait your turn and you kind of work your way up. But Cheney started out as a fucking intern. He was chief of staff, I think. And then he was Secretary of Defense. And then he was fucking vice president. He was a representative. All these different things informed his understanding of Washington. And he was always in the game in one way or another. He worked under Ford, but then they lost, right? So that's politics too, is like, you win some, you lose some. Biden was the president for 4 years. Trump is doing a mega overhaul of the whole fucking thing that's like really fucked up and drastic and is going to really damage and devastate a lot of us. But who knows? Maybe we'll be back in ASAP. Well, that was one thing I wanted to talk about was it's just, I think this political awareness, it's almost like a physical pain or something. When you have something like a toothache, it's like the only thing you can focus on, it ruins your whole life, and it's just obstructing. You're just like, you're living with it, and it's just like, oh my God, it's just like this emergency. You can't really focus on anything until you get it fixed. But then once you get it fixed, it's almost like you forget it was ever... You remember that it hurt, but you don't really remember the pain. You kind of just return to like, oh, okay, that's a relief. And it felt like that with Trump. When Trump was the president the first time, it was like an emergency all the time. It was like, oh my God, we got to get rid of this guy, the resistance. It was just all anybody focused on, all they thought about, But then, once he lost and Biden came in, people just forgot it was like it ever happened. It was just like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It didn't hurt that bad. It was just like the pain. You just forget what it's like to have that discomfort. but now that he's back again, it's like, oh my God, we're right back where we were. Where it's like, we remember, like, oh, this is the reason why we didn't want this guy to be fucking president. Because we didn't want him to defund PBS and NPR and get Colbert fired, for Christ's sake. Well, I mean, what business is that of his at all? It's insanity. I feel bad for Colbert, you know, for somebody that's just been as, like, smart-ass, outspoken about Trump to get his ass owned. It's fucked up, you know. It's like Julius Caesar, where they kill Cinna, you know, off stage. They kill the poet. They kill the jester. They wipe out the voice of opposition. They censor. I don't think people really thought we'd ever have to deal with that, or I don't know. I guess people are cynical about, we've always dealt with that. That's always, but it feels, I don't know. This feels new. It feels dark. It feels ominous. You know, I think they do have an understanding of, like, what these things mean. That was another thing the Vice movie I thought did really well, was, like, they talk about, like, at the very beginning of the movie, Roger Ailes is in the White House with them. So it's Rumsfeld, Cheney, and Roger Ailes in, like, 1973 or whatever in the White House. And it's like, there is the whole groundwork that was laid for 9/11, Bush, Fox News, right? Roger Ailes was the head of Fox News. So it's like they seeded this conservative ideology by creating this network of conservative broadcast, AM radio, Fox News, that just, like, teaches these people what to believe about everything, you know, including this Epstein thing. You know, there's already, it's the Attorney General, it's Pam Bondi, it's not Trump. They're waiting to receive their directives from on high. All the people that watch Fox, and there's a lot of them. That's why Gutfield is #1 and fucking Colbert is canceled, because all of those people are on fucking old-fashioned technology. I don't know, maybe they live in rural areas or something where they don't get high speed, or, you know, they don't have streaming, which sucks, you know. I'm sure Biden would probably do more to help those people than Trump. But they don't know that, or they don't think that. Okay, I've got 10% battery left, so I'll just do a few more minutes. Thank you guys for watching. Come see me Tuesday. I got to get my shit together for this comedy thing. I've got a bunch of stuff I got to do next week. I've got comedy. I've got that rooftop show on Saturday, the open mic, of course, on Monday, and then I've got to work on Thursday. So I've got a lot of stuff going on next week. So that's why I spent this week watching Steve Carell movies. And like, they've been informative, right? So they understand that, like, that's a big part of their apparatus, is controlling the narrative, controlling public opinion, having sort of a counter media, a counter establishment, you know, One America, Breitbart. All of the podcasts were right-wing. They were all Trump sympathetic. They were all at the inauguration. They were all complicité. And I've got one person watching. So I'm just not yapping hard enough, I guess. I don't know how to connect with more viewers. Does it just sound like I'm word salading or meandering or just trying to fill space? I'm a reporter. And we need to preserve whatever liberal media we can. You know, Marin is quitting. He's a huge libtard. Who was I watching? You know, he said something about how the comedy space has kind of been entirely captured by sort of Trump sympathetic right wing. I mean, even Bill Maher, right, is like fuck it, basically right wing at this point. And so I don't know. That's one reason why I think it's important to, like, there used to be like a liberal alt comedy type thing. The conservatives can't have that. You know, it's got to be cool to be liberal again. Because, like, well, I was thinking about, you know, like new agey people who get into RFK Jr. or something. It's like, well, they would have been liberal 30 years ago just by default. It would have been like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be a Republican. Like, ugh. They don't represent anything I stand for. Whereas, like, now it's shifted where it's just like they're rebellious, they're ideologically radical or something in a way that's like appealing to anti-establishment. They've managed to like co-opt that narrative. They're anti-war, like they're hippies or something. And I don't know. There's plenty of people out there trying to be the fucking Joe Rogan of the left. There's plenty of left-wing soy boy people with microphones. You know, they're everywhere. It's not for lack of trying. I mean, it's partially like this question of like why there's no great novelist. It's just like, we don't, I mean, I think especially like, we don't live in that like megalithic society anymore. It's like all these micro creators. It's people that are like locally famous or famous on TikTok, like fucking Subway Takes or, you know, Girls Rewatch Podcast or, you know, like a lot of these comedians have broken the formula where they've got tens of thousands of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers. It's like, it's not, you just make your own shit and you hope for the best, you know, you try to, and I don't know, just do as good as you can. There's tons of people that are doing it, that are making a living, that are getting fucking views, that are, you know, they're not necessarily the most educated, like, responsible people that are, I don't know, but a lot of these TikTok talking heads and shit, it's like they do know what the fuck they're talking about. They're experts. They have a lot to say. You do have to have some kind of, like, super insight into shit and be hyper value providing with your videos or something. Unlike this. The unedited unpremeditated, you know, one thing I've seen on TikTok more and more is people are just like literally reading something they wrote, and they've got the piece of paper or something right here, so it you know, it almost looks like they're just talking to you, but it's like the whole fucking thing is already scripted. They're not just riffing or improving or something like this. Where I'm just kind of trying to surf the waves of subject matter that erupt from my week of just sort of like personal interior musing and trying to put together the big puzzle of the whole story. You know, we've got our counterinsurgency on Poetry Island, where, so I closed the day with my poem It was like, well, okay, so Eileen Miles was there watching at the end. I'm like, oh, fuck, I better do good. And this woman from Inner Poetia was like wasted. It was awesome because we need more of that energy. She was just like trying to, come watch. And she's handing people, she handed me like a fucking cup of wine. It's like, yes, we need more people like this. So their reading was very lively. And it was cool, it's bilingual. They're very international. They're in Moscow, they're in New York, So it was cool to have them go on last. And so I finished the day with my poem, what is it called? Avenues of Experience. Which, like I said, I didn't get on tape. But by the time I was done, I looked up, Eileen Miles was gone. So maybe they went away with their Russian publishers. I'm not sure. But this lady comes up to me afterwards who's introduced herself to me like 3 or 4 times already. I've literally met her 3 or 4 times over the last decade and gotten her email and shit. And so she comes up and she's like, I recognize you, blah, blah, blah. And so we're talking. And the thing is, old people will say anything to you. They have no, and it's kind of rude, to be honest. She's like, I think I haven't seen you in a couple years. You used to be cuter. Or you were cuter then. She's like, and I'm like, oh, great. She's like, but you're more interesting now. So I don't know. She must have heard my poem and thought it was interesting. Or more interesting than what I used to do. But I don't know. I managed to get rid of a lot of my zines and stuff, which was in my books, and make some money. And just, you never know who's out there listening and what it might do and what influence or whatever. And you just got to speak your truth. That's what poetry's all about. That's what yapping on the internet is all about. Especially now. It's like a samizdat. We have to, that was my model for like the zine. And, before I ever knew what a chapbook was, I read this book about Václav Havel, who was the president of Poland. But before that, I think he was a poet. Was he a poet or was he a playwright? He was a playwright. But he, in this book, it talks about how they distributed their literature via samizdat, Samizdat, which is like this clandestine sort of hand-to-hand pamphleteering underground, where like you self-publish your writing and you give it, because it's, they're in this state where there's literally they'll get arrested or something if they write imaginative subversive literature, which is what we're heading towards, right? We're heading towards a more precise censorship where they can use shit like this to pinpoint the opposition and silence them, which I think they've already done to me. I mean, I've noticed I've been getting way less views. My last vlog got like practically no views, and I worked on it, it was a good vlog, but I think I'm just, and the open mic's been getting less views, and it's like, that might be because people are on vacation, but I think I think my subversive political opinions, the AI's Minority Report, surveillance, Palantir, super cops, robo scanners have picked up, and they're just like shattering